Yo guys, what's up? It's Speo with the Voice of Reason, and today I'm going to show you how you can put together a synth that sounds a little bit like an electric guitar, and that's pretty cool if you just want to jam out a bit to a dubstep beat or something like that. And I'm gonna just show you a quick example of what I've come up with jamming out with this guitar patch that I just put together. So as you can hear, it doesn't really sound like a guitar. It's just the best description I can come up with for this synth. It's rather like a distorted FM synth type sound, but I think it's pretty cool and it's just a lot of fun to use if you want to jam and stuff. So let's put it together. First up, you want to create a combinator, and inside this combinator we'll create a mixer. I'm gonna get back to that later, why we need this mixer. But first up, we just want to create a single Thor underneath this mixer. Here it is. And inside this Thor, we can leave the first oscillator as it is, so a sawtooth wave at octave 4. But next up, we'll chuck in another analog oscillator on a sine wave, and we'll activate it right here. And then we'll chuck in yet another analog oscillator and pitch it down an octave and also switch it to sine wave. And then we'll also activate it. Then in the modulation matrix, we'll select the third oscillator, which we've just created, and we'll route it with an amount of 63. You can hold down Shift to be more accurate. We'll route it to the oscillator 2 frequency. So we get a nice frequency modulation sound. In the filter, we'll bring down the frequency to 0, and we'll bring down the velocity amount to 0 as well. And then we can bring up the envelope amount to something in the 80s, like 83. On the filter envelope itself, we'll bring down the sustain, and we can bring up the decay a bit, and we can leave the release as it is. But we'll give the whole synth, so on the amp envelope, we'll give the whole synth some release as well. So bring it up to about 4 seconds, and we can bring the sustain all the way down as well. So we get this nice kind of plucky sound. Now, as you could hear, it's still in a polyphonic mode, but we don't want that. Sorry, because later on with the distortion, that'll sound really, really dirty, but not dirty in a good way. So we'll set it to a monorhythmic. All right, that's pretty much it for the Thor. Next up, we're gonna create a DC1 distortion unit. So this is a distortion unit from Blamsoft that's just come out, and I think it's on sale for like $12 right now. I'm not sure. It sounds pretty awesome because it's an emulation of a guitar distortion pedal, and I really like to use it right here. Of course, you can also go with the Scream 4, or you could even use the shaper on the Thor to get a similar distortion sound. But for this video, I'm just gonna use the Blamsoft distortion DC1 because it has a nice sound, I think. What we're gonna do though is we're gonna bring the tone up a bit and the distortion up quite a bit to about 9.8. So we get this nice distorted sound. And it's already got this nice kind of bassy electric guitar-y quality to it. So next up, we're gonna come to the point where we need the combinator in the mixer. Because what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add some harmonics over it by getting a second line inside this combinator to play the same thing that the first Thor is playing, but 7 semitones above. Now, if you're on Reason 6 or above, you could just use a Neptune, for example, as a send effect on the mixer. Let me just quickly demonstrate that, like this, and you could use the transpose to bring it up 7 semitones and then just mix it in with the aux knob right here. But it doesn't really sound that good because the algorithms on the Neptune are more designed to fit with vocals. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the Thor and the Blamsoft distortion unit, and we're gonna duplicate them by hitting this right here. We're gonna switch the rack around and connect the second unit of Thor and distortion, which we've just created, and we'll connect it with the mixer up here. And then inside this Thor, we'll take all the oscillators 7 semitones up. just like this. But what we're gonna also do is, this is just experimentation, which I've done prior to this tutorial. It sounds a lot better if we take out the second oscillator on this higher Thor, and we'll bring the third oscillator up to octave 4. Now we've got two lines in this mixer which are playing. The first one is the original sound, and the second one is the 7 semitones above, which gives us this nice harmonic sound. So now that we have two different Thors, we can also change stuff on the individual Thors, which will make the sound more interesting. So we can, for example, bring up the release on the harmonic Thor even higher up than on the initial Thor, which will give it this nice kind of sound to the end of the note. And we can also bring the release down on the initial Thor a bit so we can hear this more prominently. Then we can also turn on the chorus on the second Thor to give the harmonic sounds a bit more stereo width. Sorry, my sound software is acting up. Soundflower has been pretty buggy, so if there are clicks and stops in the sound, this is just due to the friggin' sound software. So if you put this patch together by yourself, it'll sound a lot cleaner than this. Yeah, I'm really sorry for that. But we're almost done anyway. Next up, we're gonna just create a reverb while right-clicking on the mixer. This will automatically route up to be an aux and send return effect. So we can just dial in some reverb, and I'm gonna do that on the 7 semitones up-pitched mixer channel right here, which will give it that nice kind of reverby harmonized sound. Yeah, okay. I can't really play anymore because of this friggin' Soundflower issue. But like I said, we're almost there. Next up, I'd just create a Scream 4 while once again clicking on the mixer, which will now auto-route up to be just a usual effect out the master and into the Scream 4. And I'd set it to tape distortion. This is just to glue the two elements, so the initial Thor and the harmonized Thor, glue them together a bit. So I just bring up the compression, bring up the speed and the compression a bit, and then reduce the damage a tad. And then we can also activate the cut and give it some highs. And for the very end, I'd like to create an equalizer and boost some lows, just to give this whole thing more impact. I'm not sure what will happen if I hit a key. Yeah, very sorry for them clicks. Yeah, you'll just have to build the patch yourself. I will probably build one which is compatible with Reason 5 and above, of course. It's for the Voice of Reason refill, which you can download with the link below. So then you can try out this patch on your system without the annoying clicks. If someone knows an alternative to Soundflower, I'd be very happy to know what I can do to fix this issue, because it's really bugging me, and I don't really know what to do if this doesn't get fixed somehow. But great, cool. I hope this tutorial was useful and you're gonna want to making some sick jams with this guitar-like sound. I can really recommend the Blamsoft Shredder Series Distortion DC1 for all things guitar-y or even not guitar-like. So if you're building a nice dubstep bass, some distortion is always a good idea, and this Blamsoft distortion unit is very cool. And it's really cheap as well, so might as well give it a look or buy it for Christmas. That's it, have a nice Christmas, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one of whatever you're having.